It's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's hear from the Democrats' rising star, Jasmine Crockett. Here she declares she wants illegal immigrants in the country because who else is going to pick the cotton, y'all?
I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
So to be clear, she sees immigrants as some subservient class. Just in case you were wondering, she wants to import an underclass to do the work she considers beneath her. Now to leftist activist Kylie Brewer explaining common ways white people are racist.
Hi, my name's Kylie, and here are some things that white people say without realizing they're being racist. Number one, coming in hot, we have when a white person is telling a story and they mention the race of the person for no reason. That waitress, and then mention how she was Hispanic as if that somehow has something to do with her character.
Wait, what? So telling a story and mentioning the race of the people involved is racist, but only if white people do it. But if I'm telling a story as a woman of colour and mention, for example, a silly white girl called Kylie delivering daft lectures about racism, that's perfectly okay. Let's get some more wisdom about racism from Kylie.
Number two, telling a story about someone from a different race and then doing an accent to make the story come to life. Number three, saying the N-word in rap music or other songs because it's going too fast to skip it.
One, doing accents is awesome and funny. And if you like rap songs and sing the lyrics that the artist has written, that does not make you racist. I mean, come on. Now, this next guy shows how you deal with these lefties. He encounters a woman in traffic in a Make America Gay Again cap. Hilarity ensues.
I like your MAGA hat. Yeah, Trump. Woo!
It says gay.
Oh, I know.
Just checking.
Trump fan.
Never know.
Trump?
No. It says make America gay again.
Great. Again.
Gay.
I know, but we love Trump, right?
That is just so amusing. Now, here's alleged comic John Oliver, one of the unfunniest nincompoops to ever call himself a comedian. Here he goes on some bizarre rant arguing that males really don't have an advantage in sport. I don't know why you even have men and women's categories then, John.
Bigger and stronger bodies are not automatically advantaged in every scenario. But the degree of difference here matters because we expect a certain amount of difference in athletics. Taller basketball players are expected to compete against shorter ones. Faster soccer players compete against slower ones. Michael Phelps was allowed to compete with other swimmers despite being part dolphin. And crucially, none of the studies I've mentioned so far bear much relevance to what these new laws target, which is youth sports, usually of all ages. And the research there is even more scant. We have no research about how being trans or undergoing gender-affirming treatment impacts athletic performance in teens.
Yes, he really is that stupid and pathetic. A sad, well, sounds like a laugh track accompanying lies, half-truths and gaslighting masquerading as comedy. Pathetic, but if you think that was the worst of it, well, brace yourself, because when this lefty loses it, he really loses it. Here he claims it's not the women being injured we should care about, it's the trans activists who are having their feelings hurt.
Just to be clear, I'm not happy to watch women experience injury, humiliation and a loss of sporting opportunities. But that includes trans women and kids, and they seem to be getting hurt the most right now.
Yeah, but they're not getting injured though, are they, John? And funny, if there is no physical advantage, then why are we not seeing a whole bunch of women identifying as men competing in men's competition? If you think there is no difference between the sexes, then let me read out this one stat that brings it home even for the biggest simpleton among us, and I'm talking to you, John Oliver. The fastest female sprinter in the world is American runner Allyson Felix, a woman with more gold medals than Usain Bolt, Her lifetime best for the 400 metres is 49.26 seconds. Based on 2018 data, nearly 300 high school boys in the US alone could beat it. Now, that was from back in 2021, and I can tell you the sexes haven't changed that much since then. You know, even a broken clock is right twice a day, and even CNN occasionally allows truth and data to intrude on its 24/7 anti-Trump hysteria.
I think there was this concern among some folks that Donald Trump would come in for a second term and kind of be a lame duck. He ain't no lame duck. If anything, he's a soaring eagle. What am I talking about here? Let's talk about Trump executive orders in 2025. He's already signed 111 so far. That is the most at this point in a presidency in at least 100 years. In fact, it's the most in any single year, and we're only in April.
Oh, wow. The teeny tiny CNN audience doesn't want to hear that. The hosts don't want to hear it either. So naturally, the question had to be asked, does Trump have too much power with all those executive orders? Surely a big majority of Americans are worried about that. Turns out they're not, though.
Take it a step further. Do the people think he has too much? He's taken too much power.
Yeah, this I think is the real question, right? You can believe that he's doing stuff completely differently, but do you think that he has a little too much power or not? And this is interesting. So Trump's presidential power is too much, the right amount, too little. Well, 47% say too much, but then you get 36% who say the right amount. Then you get 17% who say too little. So you're essentially dealing with a majority of the American public, 53%, who do not say that Trump has too much power. They either says he has too little power or the right amount of power. So the idea, that argument that Donald Trump is, quote unquote, a king, that I don't think holds with the American people. It does hold maybe with 47%, but with the majority of folks, they believe Donald Trump's doing something completely differently, and they don't believe he has too much power, and the executive orders he signed certainly suggest he's no lame duck. He is, as I said at the beginning, a soaring eagle.
53 to 47%. Funny how that works. Now, let's talk about Bill Burr, the once funny Bill Burr, who has gone from being hilarious to being a hysteric and is now backing away from his newly acquired lefty views. It was only a couple of weeks ago where he was railing against corporates and saying to a free murderer, Luigi Mangione.
You know what I mean? Because some corporate had to give himself a bonus check at the end of the year. What if we made it worse? But made it look the same?
Yeah.
Then could our pools be bigger?
Not
Free
okay.
Luigi!
But showing all the courage and consistency of a typical celebrity, Burr is now backing away from that sort of position. Despite going on The View and railing against Donald Trump and Elon Musk, he now says he's not political.
No, I'm not going to just have some controversial moment so you can get clicks. I'm not doing that. I mean, I'm here for Conan. I'm not doing all of this. What are you going to bring up next? The Middle East? I went to summer school 3 out of 4 years in high school. I'm not qualified to talk about this.
I was just
What do you think about global warming?
You said about Elon that he was ruining Earth, I saw on The View. You're critical of him. What do you think of all the boycotts, like even the violence
I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I have no idea what's going on. I watch Instagram. I watch people wipe out on motorcycles. I watch lions and hyenas fight each other. This is the things that I do. And I don't think you should be asking a comedian.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't know anything about politics. He's not political, but he chose to go on The View and rail against the Trump agenda. Well done. Now, if you want to see real racism, then watch this. And sadly, it's not just this woman. More than $250,000 has been raised for this killer, Carmelo Anthony, who murdered an innocent, unarmed teenager. His name's Austin Metcalf, at a track event. Watch this woman justify Austin's murder. This is utterly sick.
Y'all not gonna make me believe or feel any kind of sympathy for Austin Metcalf at all. He put his hands on that young man when he should have kept them hands to himself. When the young man told him, touch me and see, you bet not touch me, that meant that I don't want you in my space, I don't want you touching me. Rosa Parks days is over. You cannot think that you can move somebody out of a seat that you don't own and think that it's going to be okay. And you can't determine how I'm going to retaliate on you when you put your hands on me in an aggressive manner. Austin Metcalf got exactly what he deserved.